guys, Rachel from Trino Nights here. Today's video is a collaboration with CraftInfinityandBeyond, where she will take this really cute reference picture and turn it into a really adorable figurine. I today will be making a snow globe based off of my character, so let's go clay. So I'm starting with this DIY snow globe kit and some clay and some wire. I already did a rough sketch, if you will, of what I kind of wanted to make, and then I squished it and then realized it would actually be kind of useful to use as a base for making my wire armature. I knew I wanted her legs to be a little bit longer, so I am going to make my armature a bit taller than my original idea reference, if you will. I'm just adding a little bit of clay to keep everything put together so it doesn't fall apart. And I'm going to cut out a circle base. This is going to be what our character is going to be standing on. I'm doing it pretty thin. I don't want it too thick since it will be on top of the plastic anyway. I'm just getting everything all smoothed out and textured up, which texture really doesn't matter, but it's too small. I don't like it. I wish I made it bigger. So I'm going to just go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to decide where I want my character to be placed. I'm going to place her in and fold the wire down on the bottom. Now this wire is a bit too tall, as you can see. I will be making it shorter. I just kind of wanted to get it in place so that way I could go ahead and bake it. Okay, now that it's baked, I'm going to take the wire armature out and I'm going to start sculpting the body. For the body, it's just a teardrop shape, and then I cut it in half and then put it on either side of the armature and then blended it together. Then I put the wire in the positions I wanted for the legs. I really want to work on doing movement and motion within my pieces instead of them just being stagnant and standing there. So I really wanted to push myself and put legs in different positions to make it look like the legs were moving. And so I put the wire in place, and then I made a snake of clay, and then I cut a line down the middle and then blended it into place. And little teardrops for the feet. Now I know where the wire is supposed to be, so I trimmed that also so it fits in the little kind of key at the bottom. And for her shirt, I'm just taking another flat piece of clay and putting it around the bottom of her, where you would see the front part of her shirt, and just smoothing the top part into the rest of the body, and that is just going to be her main shirt. And then her jacket is another flat piece of clay, and I'm really struggling to figure out how I'm going to wrap the coat around while taking into account for the wires. I don't usually work with wire armatures, and so it's a bit difficult for me to see how it has to be done, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to get a lot better. So yeah, it took me a little bit to kind of piece out the puzzle that is a wire armature wrapping it around. And she has a couple buttons on her coat. Adding a little bit of bacon bond, that didn't matter at all. She ended up being not as secure as I would have liked, but that's okay. We put lots of points of contact, so she's super secure. Now I'm just gonna work on her arms. I'm trying to make them a little bit tapered so they're thinner up top than they are at the bottom. And then I add a little kind of roundy ball for the hands. Okay, now I have the second arm done. Again, I was trying to add a little bit of movement, but the hands weren't really the focal point of the movingness, I guess. The head is just a flat-ish oval, and then a little other oval for the nose. That was at least the nose I chose. You get different noses, I think. I think so. Okay, and the hair. Now I'm on the hair. This was difficult. I always really love the look of hair that is just one piece, not multiple stranded hair. So I really wanted to try it for this one. And so I just rolled out a really thick rectangle of clay and then started kind of cutting out little edges at the bottom, rolling it out to get to a nice smooth point, and then adding a flat snake of clay along the top to kind of give it, so it's not so flat, to give it like it has like some wave or curl to it. I'm just trying to smooth everything in, and then also take the bottoms of the hair and kind of push them out and then pull the tips back in to again make them more rounded, to give the hair some more movement, but I still wanted to pull off that single piece of hair look. I think adding a little bit of texture really helped. I cut the end or the top of it at a taper to make it easier to blend. She looks kind of like Beethoven or something. A balding old man. Just gonna smooth everything into place. And every time I get to use that sound effect, it's a good day. A couple pieces for the bang, so it's not exactly a single piece of hair, but I'm happy with it. As you can see, she's a little wobbly, so I put a snowball there to kind of help hold her in place. I'm just going to make a hat using I'm using clay, of course. It's kind of a dome for the hat, and kind of move it around to get the shape that I want. And then a flat, long strip piece of clay, and that is going to be for the rim of the hat. Now, just to add some details of the hat, I'm just putting in some kind of ridges. Then I'm also going to use one of the tools that I have to kind of roll over it and get some extra texture to make it look like a knitted hat. This is actually the only texture that still shows through in the finished product. And then I'm going to do the same with the rim of the hat, adding all the extra texture just to make it look uniform. And then a ball on top. My reference, she doesn't actually have a ball on her hat, but I thought it looked really nice compositionally. But unfortunately, in the snow globe, you actually can't see the ball of the hat, but I still really like how it looked. And I'm just reshaping out the snowballs that are next to her. Again, adding texture that is completely unnecessary. It's completely covered up by paint. You can't even tell. But it made me feel better, so I did it anyway. And now she is fully baked. I am using some E6000 and gluing her to the plastic base that goes inside the snow globe. And then I'm adding a little bit of extra glue around her foot and all the other points of contact between her and the snowballs, and then the snowballs in the base, just because I want her to be secure. I added some more E6000 around the edge, and I'm coating her with some gesso and white acrylic paint just to get a good base coat. And I completely forget to hit record when filming the beginning parts of the painting. I didn't really miss much. I just started painting the pants and the shoes, and now I'm moving on to the coat. And there's not really a lot to explain, so I will just let you guys watch how I paint this character. Oh, and I'm watching Fruits Basket, by the way. Oh, and I forgot to record. I used a pencil to draw on her face first, and I did kind of mess up a little bit on the mouth. Fortunately, you can erase the pencil on the paint, so that was really nice. I was able to fix it. I feel like I really need to work on practicing faces a lot. I wasn't happy with how the mouth came out. It came out a little too sharp So I just used some more of the skin tone paint that I used, covered up the top where I exaggerated lines that should not have been exaggerated, put in a new line, and you can hardly even tell. Okay, and I am mixing up some resin. I'm using art resin. I've just mixed it according to package instructions, and then I waited about an hour for it to get a little bit thicker and goopier. By the end of coating it with resin, it was already kind of pushing its workability, so I would say about an hour for this particular resin. Just so that way it actually sticks into place and doesn't just goop off, because that's not what you want. And I just kind of tried to pick up some of the parts that were dripping as she was drying, just trying to be careful. Okay, I let her dry for about 72 hours. She is well beyond cured. And I'm going to fill up my snow globe, and I have no idea what I'm doing, honestly. I'm just putting in more water and kind of keep testing, because I know you don't want to fill it up completely. And I'm going to use some glycerin. You guys remember that song? Okay, so I put in about 2 teaspoons of glycerin into the water, and I'm just stirring it up. And then I'm going to add some glitter. I wish I had maybe checked this out a little bit more, and I added a little bit too much glitter. I wish I had not putting as much in. Put as much in. And now I'm placing it in, but I need to add more water, I think. Yes, I need to add more water, but now I'm having a hard time getting the actual base to push down. So I scoop out a little bit of the water, which I don't even know if that mattered at all. And at this point, I'm actually starting to panic. Like, I'm freaking out because I don't know what's going on. So I'm adding some super glue to help me initially kind of hold it down. And then I'm going around the entire edge, gooping it up with E6000 to make it as watertight as I possibly can. And then I will put the lid on, and then I let that sit for a while. And now she's done. She's so glittery and sparkly. I'm so happy with how this came out. It's really neat to have made a figure. You know, when you make statues or figurines or whatever, they're so stagnant, but this has so much movement and life to it. I'm really happy with how it came out. If you have any advice for making snow globes, let me know, because I am clueless on making snow globes and I want to make more for sure. Make sure you go check out Craft Infinity and Beyond's video. I will have a link in the cards at the very end of this video, so be sure to go check it out. But I did add some more E6000 around the end, or the edge. Honestly, I gooped up that glue wherever I could to make sure water doesn't leak out. But I'm really happy with it, and I'm definitely going to try some more snow globes in the future. And that's all I have for today, so I will see y'all in the next one.